CNG or compressed natural gas started being used as fuel in vehicles in the early 2000s in India, initially in retrofitment containers, followed by the brands offering them as an option from the factory itself. Today, the penetration is so high that you will see CNG buses, cars, and three-wheelers plying on the road in almost every city across India. Now, the idea of a CNG two-wheeler has been experimented with before, but again as a CNG retrofitment kit. This, however, is the first production CNG motorcycle developed from the ground up by a mass market brand. Say hello to the new Bajaj Freedom. Now, there's a lot of curiosity around this motorcycle. We have been getting a lot of questions around it, such as where the CNG tank has been placed, does it have a petrol tank, what's the combined range, kitna deti hai, is it safe, and does it ride like a normal motorcycle, and does it make sense right now? In the quest to answer all of these questions, we have ridden the Bajaj Freedom over 2 days in traffic, on the highway, and in every possible scenario that a CNG bike owner would. So, allow us to share our experience with you.
Let's go!
Now, if you look at the overall architecture of this motorcycle, you'll realize that the CNG tank takes the center stage and everything else has been put together around it. Now, it has a 2 kg CNG tank which sits under the seat, and if you take a closer look, you'll realize that you'll see that the trellis frame encloses the CNG tank, and that's why they had to use trellis frame to form a cage around the CNG tank for safety reasons, and that's why they didn't employ normal conventional single down tube or double down tube chassis. That's why a tubular steel trellis frame, and it also gets a 2-liter petrol tank sitting at the front, which actually acts as a range extender in case you run out of CNG. Owing to a large space being occupied by the CNG tank, Bajaj had to go with a lot of unconventionally designed and placed components. For instance, the 125cc engine is a slopper, horizontally placed unit, unlike the traditional vertical placement of the engine block. At the rear, the restriction of space made Bajaj to go with a link-type monoshock, which sits under the bike vertically, and the rear wheel is a 16-inch unit, unlike most other bikes in this segment which come with a 17-inch rear wheel. At the front, however, it boasts conventional elements like a 17-inch wheel and telescopic forks. Now, addressing the main concern that most of you have, kitna deti hai? Now, as per Bajaj claims, it runs for around 100 kilometers in 1 kg of CNG and close to 65 kilometers in 1 liter of petrol. Now, if you combine a 2-liter petrol tank and 2 kilo CNG tank, the overall range comes down to 330 kilometers. But when we did our kind of range test, the findings have been very interesting. Every time we arrived at a CNG pump, people flocked around the bike and bombarded us with questions. The hype surrounding this product is real. Now, we did 2 different mileage tests, one with more of highway riding, at times pushing the bike to 80-85 kmph of speeds, and extracted 80 km per kg. The second test was done with more conservative riding, and the mileage was a surprising 104 km per kg. However, there is a bit of caveat here. During the first test, the pressure at the pump was higher, over 200, which meant we could fill more CNG in the tank. In the second test, however, the lower pressure of around 180 meant we could top up the tank with less gas, thereby obtaining slightly higher mileage. Reports of CNG vehicles exploding and catching fire keep surfacing on the internet frequently, thereby giving rise to skepticism about their safety. Now, in case of the Freedom, Bajaj has tested this motorcycle in 11 different ways to ensure safety and intactness of the CNG tank and the frame surrounding it. At the launch event of the bike, the company showed us videos of the safety tests the Freedom has been subjected to. 2 of these videos which really fascinated us are a truck running over the bike, specifically over the tank and the frame. Plus, they did a high-speed frontal collision of the bike with a much bigger vehicle. In both these scenarios, the CNG tank seemed intact and the pressure valve indicator stayed in the safe zone. Moreover, the CNG tank meets government-mandated safety standards and is certified by Petroleum and Explosive Safety Organization. Moreover, the engine internals of the Freedom are said to be compatible with CNG fuel, considering its property of running drier and hotter than petrol. The Freedom, even in CNG mode, rides like a conventional petrol-powered motorcycle. The engine is fairly smooth until 80 kmph of speeds, with minor buzz emanating beyond that. However, the acceleration is a little mellow for a 125cc bike. Even in the city, you might have to go down a gear or two to overtake vehicles. But when you switch to petrol mode, it feels noticeably peppier, but not entertainingly so. This engine is clearly inclined more towards fuel efficiency than performance. What gives it a little character is a bassy exhaust sound. The gearbox is smooth and slick for the most part, and the clutch can be operated with a single finger. On the handling front, it feels pretty light on its feet, and flicking your way through traffic is effortless. It's only when you move the bike in the parking that it feels slightly top heavy due to the inclusion of a 16 kg CNG tank. While the front suspension feels absorbent, the rear is tuned slightly on the stiffer side and you feel a little kickback over sharper undulations while riding solo. It feels more settled while riding with a pillion. What is a bit odd is the thud sound you hear coming from the front forks if you don't slow down enough while over speed bumps. The brakes do a decent job of shedding speed, with the front disc brake delivering a decent bite and the rear being too progressive. Although it doesn't get ABS, the CBS functions efficiently enough to prevent the wheels from locking up as long as you don't go berserk with braking. Since there's a long CNG tank sitting underneath, Bajaj could also accommodate a long seat, 785 mm long to be specific. Now to give you a perspective how long exactly it is, Rishabh will be joining me, and as you can see, two of us average size Indians being on the bike, you still have so much space at the front, at the back. So in case you want to carry a travel bag or a grocery bag between you guys or whatever stuff that you want to carry. But we don't recommend three people sitting on the motorcycle. This is what you shouldn't do. The unusual design of the motorcycle gets it loads of attention, and we noticed people having polarizing opinions. Some found its motocross and scrambler-like aesthetics likable, others thought the long seat and the puny fuel tank looked a little odd. In any case, it does grab eyeballs. Having said that, the quality levels are impressive. The paint finish, quality of plastic throughout, and the fitment of the panels are commendable. Even after riding it comprehensively over 2 days, we didn't start hearing any weird noises coming from any of its panels or components. What put us into a little panic was some water seeping in through the gaps around the fuel filler flap and depositing near the CNG inlet. However, we have been told that it's not a thing to worry about as long as the CNG inlet is closed properly with the pin. Although the Freedom is a commuter, it's not rudimentary in terms of features. The package includes a negative LCD screen which shows all the crucial data. Strangely, there's no level indicator for petrol, and the CNG indicator takes some time to pop up when you switch from petrol to CNG mode, which, by the way, is just a matter of flicking a switch and can be done on the go. The top-end variant also gets Bluetooth connectivity, which gives you access to turn-by-turn navigation and SMS and call alerts. Also, there's a USB charger sitting beside the display. While the most affordable variant gets a halogen headlamp, the higher two variants boast an LED headlamp. The lower two variants get a drum brake at both ends, while the top-end trim offers a front disc brake. So what we really liked about the Bajaj Freedom is that it rides like a normal petrol-powered motorcycle even in CNG mode. The engine is smooth and there's nothing odd about its behavior. And another impressive bit is that you can switch between petrol and CNG modes on the go easily. Other things that are nice and sorted include the ride quality, the brakes, handling, and the overall seating comfort. What I really think could have been little better is the acceleration. It could have been slightly peppier, especially for city. And some people might find the seat height to be a bit tall, but these are things one can easily live with. What still remains a big question is whether a CNG bike makes sense as of now. We are not doubting Bajaj's ability to make CNG vehicles. They have been making CNG three-wheelers for many years after all. However, what may pose a problem is a small CNG tank, shorter range and limited infrastructure. Although the amount you'll pay per kilometer with a CNG bike is less than a petrol motorcycle, But shorter range means more fuel runs. And initially there is a lot of fascination and curiosity around CNG bikes, but once that fades away, even CNG bike owners will be a part of the long queues. And different pressures at different CNG pumps and region-wise difference in the prices of CNG just add to the small caveats. What we are also eager to know as of now is how this engine ages in the long run and if the performance and range are retained in the same way as they are right now. So that was the story of the Bajaj Freedom CNG bike for this video. We are really looking forward to riding and testing this motorcycle over a long period of time. As of now, I'm Anuj signing off, but before we leave, make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon.